Well, as only a few teams remain in the Class AA this year, that means teams only have a few games left. So that signifies one last ride for one Bruin family. Pre-game at a Capital High game, you're bound to see many of the same things. The Bruins running out of the helmet, starting lineups, and of course head coach Kyle Mihelish embracing his son Merrick right before kickoff.
Just have fun, let it go, love you, play hard, play for yourself, play for your teammates. And, it's kind of a moment that, most dads don't get, so it's pretty cool.
This is the senior year for quarterback Merrick, a University of Montana commit. And on senior night, not only did he get a shutout win, but he also got a large amount of support from the Mihelish family.
It was pretty special, obviously. I didn't know a lot of those people were coming, so it was pretty cool to just see how much family comes to sport and care about you.
Well, it always kind of sneaks up on you, senior night. It was a real special night. We celebrated 29 seniors. Obviously, my son being one of them. So it was an emotional evening. It was good to see all the families and the moms and dads and grandpas and stepdads and moms.
And the final year of the Mihelish duo has been spectacular, with the team securing the Western AA's 1 seed in the playoffs.
Well, it's been fantastic. Not even just coaching my kid. We've all coached. I've been a part of these kids' lives since they're 4 or 5 years old, a lot of them, and saw them grow up in our flag football league and our small fry league, and obviously 4 years here at Capital High School. I think it's a tight-knit group. I think they're a good group of young men.
It's a pretty cool feeling, obviously, just looking up to everybody and obviously just living your life. I want to be a Bruin football player. I want to be a Bruin football player. So obviously now that I am, it's pretty fun and I embrace every moment of it.
Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. Well, it has officially arrived. Not just football season, but also the addition of new turf and new lights for the first time here at Carroll College. But before we take a look at all the new features here at Nelson Stadium, let's take a look back at how the enhancement project got started.
It was going to happen. Well, it is going to happen, and it will be done in time for the first football game in the summer of 20.
Way back in the fall of last year, Carroll College held a press conference as the school was finally ready to launch the $5 million Nelson Stadium enhancement project.
1, 2, 3.
Fast forward to spring of this year, where the longtime grass in Nelson had been removed, and amongst the dirt mounds and heavy machinery, an official groundbreaking was held.
It's like Christmas Day. It's just so exciting. And what gets me excited is just the impact it will have on our students, our 300 athletes.
And so crews worked through the summer, laying down turf 1 square at a time and establishing the foundation for new light towers. And finally, just as the Saints opened up fall camp, Valley Bank Field at Nelson Stadium was ready for football.
Unbelievable. We especially the first practice coming out here, not have to turn on light towers and stuff at 5:45 in the morning. The guys were missing the gentle purr of the diesel engine and the smell of diesel with the light towers. But so yeah, just very exciting. It felt like a whole different experience, a whole different college. It felt like a whole different place.
I actually feel like a step quicker. I feel a little bit younger. Makes practice a lot more productive as a whole team. Last couple of years on the grass, it'd be good for a month. And after that, you'd start dreading practice. You're like, I can't get better, I can't get my footing, I can't do the right stuff. So on the turf right now, it is night and day difference.
So now, with brand new turf, brand new lights, some new posters, and some new paint, the stage is set in a $5 million stadium, and there's one thing left to do: play some football in it. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. Well, it was officially parade day today here in Helena for the Capital High Bruins after winning the 2024 Class AA State Football Championship. So let's relive the entire season, starting from day one. Back in August, the Bruins kicked off their first practice, looking for redemption after losing in the state semifinals in 2023.
Pretty well last year, but we know we can do better, and I think as a team we're going to be working really hard.
To open the season, Capital would suffer its first and only loss against the Gallatin Raptors, But after that, it was strictly business as the Bruins rolled over Skyview, Sentinel, and Hellgate. Then, of course, it was time for Crosstown against rival Helena High.
The same as any other week, you're anxious because you prepared the whole week, you're not really nervous because I think nervous kind of shows you're a little frightened when you're nervous, so.
The Bruins would make it 3 wins in a row over Helena High and Vigilante Stadium with a 40-21 victory.
We've been working great, they had a great offensive and defensive front, and I think we really showed what we're capable of doing, so I think we did a great job out there.
And then the game that would prove to be the Western AA title game, Capital versus Glacier. And while the Wolfpack took a 14-0 lead early, Capital would score 35 unanswered points and improve to 4-0 in conference play. And after wins against Big Sky and Flathead, the Bruins held senior night versus Butte and capped off an 8-1 regular season with a 42-0 shutout victory.
There you go! There you go!
Then, of course, it was playoff time, where the Bruins downed Sentinel again, this time in the quarterfinals, before facing off against Billings West.
It's been great. It's been fun playing with all your boys, so.
And in an instant classic snow game, Capital won 35-6 to return to the state championship. So the Bruins mohawked up. We're hosting Glacier for the second time.
And one more time, let there be light on Friday. It is Championship Friday night here under the lights at Vigilante Stadium in the Class AA here in the great state of Montana.
And after a long touchdown from Merrick Mihelish to Dylan Almquist,
Play action. Dylan's going to roll to the near side, has pressure, has Dylan Almquist wide open! A big hitter, and Dylan makes a man miss, and he's going to take it to the house! Touchdown!
the Bruins secured their lucky number 13 state championship. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. Helena's own Brian Knight returned to the capital city this week for the annual Jim Knight Night, named after Brian's dad, who was a long-time umpire. Brian has followed in his father's footsteps and made it to the highest level, as he's currently an MLB umpire.
It's been fantastic being back in Helena and being at the place that really I grew up in, and so being back in this atmosphere is really cool for me. It's been a while since I've been to a game here, and got a bunch of our family in the stands, and it was just a really neat experience. Yeah.
Brian is a Capital High graduate and worked in the Pioneer League before making his way up all the way to the majors. In 2023, he called the final strike in the World Series.
Every time I take the field in the big leagues, I have a little bit of a moment where I got to pinch myself, you know. I mean, coming from this to those is a big leap, and so I thought about it when I was working the World Series last year. To calm myself down. It's the same game I played at Kendrick in the 90s. Yeah, the balls are going a little faster and there's more people watching, but essentially it's the same game. And so I had a good foundation that came from the baseball community here in Helena.
Brian gave out the Jim Knight Memorial Award to Senators' second baseman Braden Beatty. The award is given to a player who demonstrates integrity, sportsmanship, and character. This was the first time Brian was able to make the ceremony since his father passed away after a battle with cancer.
Knowing Dad like I do, I think he would have loved it. Yeah, he would have been really, he'd be crying his eyes out right now. And if I stop and think about it too much, I will too, so yeah.
The Senators wore special uniforms and were able to secure a series win against the Bozeman Bucks and remain atop the Class AA Legion standings. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. I'm Jack Marshall here at Capital High School, where the Bruins have won their last 5 football games. And a big part of that has been the play of Dylan and Drew Almquist, 2 brothers who also happen to be the team's 2 leading receivers.
Ellis thrown over the middle. This one will be caught. What a catch. And Almquist on his feet inside the 10. And it's going to be another tutty for the Capital High.
We're going to look down the near sideline. And he's going to take a shot. Capital's got a man there, and there's Dylan Almquist. That might be an interception. We'll see, and it is Capital with a big interception.
These Almquist brothers.
Dylan, a senior, and Drew, a sophomore, have combined for over 600 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns for the Bruins, who sit at first place in the Western AA.
It's a little weird sometimes, it's just, sometimes I'll be in the huddle and I'll just be like, wow, it's really like that's my brother out on the field with me, but then you just got to lock in and play football. And, he's a good player, been a good addition.
It's weird definitely lining up, seeing him across from you and like near you, but it's nice to get some like tips from him and give him some tips and just like feed off each other.
And while basketball is a big part of the Almquist family, with the brothers' dad Guy being the head coach at Capital, there's also some proud football tradition, as the brothers' grandpa Denny Almquist is a University of Idaho Hall of Famer who was drafted into the NFL.
Those kids that have been exposed to that kind of stuff, they do have a different IQ than they understand what's going on. They've grown up in the locker room, they have a pretty good idea, so it's been a joy coaching those guys.
It's a big thing, and we like to compete. It's just kind of in us, and they support our games, and they come and they like to see us compete and just play hard.
I mean, my family just always supported what I've done. There's a lot of athletes that run in my family, so just kind of looking up to what they did and trying to emulate that.
The Almquist brothers will look to help the Bruins stay undefeated in conference play this Thursday when the team takes on Missoula Big Sky. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. The Helena Senators have a chance to win back-to-back Class AA State Legion Baseball Tournament Championships. This year, Helena holds the number 2 seed, and while most teams may be content with a high seed, the Senators are not.
2 seed at state, it's kind of a bummer, honestly. We're playing really well in conference and lost a couple tough games here and there.
And for starting pitcher Will Ling, that strive towards excellence and perfection showed this year as he broke the Senators' program record for wins and ERA.
It feels really great. I really do have a great team behind me, a lot of help. I've been throwing to some really great catchers over the past couple of years. Cole Graham, Connor Devine, those guys have really helped me out.
But regular season accolades don't matter anymore, as the Senators eye 5 straight days of baseball games on their newly renovated home field.
It's going to be nice just because we're used to the field and everything, and I don't know, with all the fans that will be here to support us, it'll be nice.
While Helena has lost 3 of its last 4 games, it does have the ability to get hot and stay hot, as at one point this year the Senators won 16 games in a row.
Our pitching's just been pretty good, and we go out and try to make plays every day and put the ball in play and see what happens. When it happens. So
whoever's playing their best ball at state has a chance to take it, and I think if we do our job and execute, we have a really good chance.
The Senators begin their quest to repeat as champions on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. against Missoula. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall.
Oh, what's up, everybody? I didn't see you there. I'm just out here jogging and getting ready for this week's episode of Jack of All Sports, where I'll be running a marathon.
When it comes to running, I, like most people, have done it before, but I've never done a marathon, and this will be my first competitive race of any kind in almost a decade. So I decided to head down to the Missoula Marathon Race Expo to get some advice.
Pretty much anyone can run a marathon as long as you give yourself enough time to get there. If you're trying to get into running, don't be afraid to do the walk run thing until you're a bit more comfortable.
It's 80% mental, 20% physical. So just make sure you have that strong mentality and just believe in yourself. Anything is possible, you never know. So always got to try.
Slow down and keep your heart rate low and just be patient and do lots of easy runs, and over time it just gets easier and easier.
So all I had to do now was run the race. 3 a.m. wake up, and I loaded on the bus.
10 minutes till start. It's starting to rain a little bit. We're by the finish line here, or starting line in Frenchtown. I'm already confused, but feeling good. It's a beautiful morning in Montana.
I took the advice to take it slow, but the first 10 miles went by pretty quickly and pretty seamlessly.
10 miles.
A couple miles later, and we hit our first hill.
All right, vibe check, everybody. I think we're 14 miles done in the middle of the woods. Went up a hill. You know, I'm feeling okay.
With half the race done, I actually started to feel really good, so I set a new goal.
Good. Are you feeling good? You look awesome.
I'm going under 4.
I know you are. You're holding it. You're doing awesome.
With that great support from my mom at the end of the race, I kept pushing and finished under 4 hours in my first ever marathon.
Let's go, Jack! Woo!
Succeeding at running the marathon made up for some of my earlier failures in rugby and disc golf, but I'll admit it took a lot of training and hard work. So if you do want to start running marathons, let's go back to some solid advice from Marissa.
Find one of those couch to 5K plans, and if it's telling you to like increase by a mile or 2 the following weekend and you don't feel ready or your body's not recovering from like the distance you're at, give yourself more time. Like, you know, we're all here for like a good time, not necessarily a long time, so like whatever pace feels right for you, go with that.
Well, that's it for this episode of Jack of All Sports. Thanks for coming along for all 26.2 miles. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall. What's up, everyone? Jack Marshall here. I'm on a property north of Helena, which is home to a world champion.
Two-time world champion bucking horse. One of the most famous bucking horses ever.
That world champion is Virgil, a 15-year-old bucking horse owned by C5 Stock Contractors. Virgil has won Bucking Horse of the Year twice in the U.S. and twice in Canada, and the highest scored bareback bronc ride ever was set on top of him. But if you want to know Virgil, you need to know Tyson Cardinal. Tyson essentially acts as Virgil's manager, assisting him in the bucking shoots, but also working as a pickup man in the arena for him.
He's funny because some days he's gonna come around to you, and sometimes you'll be riding out there, he'll be looking at you and he'll be like, I'm gonna go on my right lead, and he'll just take off. Whatever Virgil wants to do, he'll do it, and we're fine with that because he bucks.
This year at the Last Chance Stampede in Helena, Virgil accomplished a three-peat by producing the winning score for the third year in a row when Jacob Lees rode him for a 90.5 point ride.
What a ride! What a ride!
I don't think I would do anything else in my life besides work with these horses, especially the ones that we have, you know, all these horses that we're raising that I put together at home.
While Virgil is no doubt one of the greatest bucking horses of all time, with his age, the question is raised. How much longer will fans get to see him before he retires?
He'll tell me. He'll tell us. You know, I was actually thinking of retiring him this past year, and then he come on this spring and still 90 plus. I was like, well, he doesn't want to quit, so why should I? I'm not going to take that away from him.
Well, it's officially Crosstown Week in Helena. You know how it goes. Capital High, Helena High. Bruins versus Bengals, and as they say here, winners walk the streets, losers walk the alleys.
And let's first take a look at Capital High, who's won its last 3 games by an average of 37 points after a season-opening loss to Gallatin. This year, the Bruins will look to make it 3 in a row over the crosstown rivals.
Daniel Larson, have a day! And it's going to be another tutty for the Capital High Bruins.
The best rivalry in the state of Montana. As far as AA football is concerned, it's been going on for quite some time, you know, since, 73, 74. So, it's a real special night, and, you just kind of tell the kids to enjoy it. It's something you're going to remember the rest of your life.
I mean, I think we just played together the last couple of years. I think everyone's bought in, kind of done their job, and I think just as a team, it's just meant a lot to us.
Capital boasts a dangerous offense with a lot of talent surrounding quarterback Merrick Mahelish, who's thrown for 15 touchdowns without an interception.
It's pretty fun, but I think the reason it is fun is because we've matured a lot and we've been growing into the offense. Because we've been in the same system for 3 years now since Coach Rayon's been the offensive coordinator.
About 3 miles on the other side of town, it's Helena High, who started 1-3. Don't let that fool you. The Bengals have battled some of the top teams in the state, and this year in Crosstown, they're looking for redemption.
1, 2, 3, Bengals!
feeling great. I mean, it's one of the best weeks of the year. Just excited to play with the boys and go against the team across the west side.
Oh, just like every week, we're pretty excited about it, but we're treating it as a normal game. We're trying to really stay calm about it, but we know it's a big one.
The Bengals also enter the game with a quality offense, one that has scored 26 or more points in every game, thanks in part to a solid offensive line that boasts some talented returners.
You know, our O-line's really just been great. We've worked all off season, and you know, I can't speak for the other guys, but O-line's been great this year.
Up front, we just have good relationships. We've been playing with each other for a long time, and we brought Tallis back in, and that's just a good way to bring in the full camaraderie on the O-line, and yeah.
The Bruins and the Bengals will square off for the 51st year on Friday night. Reporting for SWX Montana, I'm Jack Marshall.